We need to talk. I mean, the guy at the guitar store said you're really cool and all, but let's face it. You don't stay in tune. You're irritable when I try to change your tunings. And I'm not even going to lie. Late at night I look at hardtail versions of you. Something's got to change. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the Floyd Rose system and how to take care of it if you have acquired a Floyd Rose in a way that is like either it was a hand-me-down or it's an old guitar that you've grown out of and you don't like the Floyd Rose anymore, or maybe it was sold to you by the store and maybe you didn't understand what a Floyd Rose was. Either way, it's for someone who maybe has a Floyd Rose but doesn't like it. So we're going to show you how to correct that. So if you're not familiar with the Floyd Rose, real fast, it's a bridge system that has fine tuners here, and it has over here a locking nut. And the reason that is you tune up the guitar, lock these with an Allen wrench, and then the tuning keys have no effect of the string anymore because they're locked. So you have to do the fine tuning down here. Now the problem with that is that if you look underneath the hood, there are springs in the back, and unlike maybe a Strat, this bridge is fully floating, which means if the strings, if you try to go down a half step or drop D, the springs will then push on the bridge and push everything sharp. So you may not want that. So we're going to show you a couple ways to fix that. And let's start by here looking at the supplies. So things you're going to need, about 8 pennies if you're in the United States. Somewhere else you're going to need whatever denomination that is cheapest for you. A piece of wood, a Tremol No system, some electrical tape, scissors, and maybe a measuring device. So let's start with the easiest, fastest way, the pennies. So what we'd want to do is come over here to the bridge. We're going to go ahead and pull this spring off, and we're going to use the caliper. And what we want to do is we want to make sure the bridge is set perfectly flush with the body, okay? So that's where we want it to sit, perfectly even. So once we know we're perfectly even, right, we can go ahead and take the caliper and go ahead and measure that spot, okay? And then we're gonna see here, it looks like it was about 6 cents, okay? So we're gonna take 6 pennies, okay? And then what we're gonna do, now you also have to be aware that the electrical tape will add some thickness. So we're gonna take the 6 cents, stack it like so, take the electrical tape, and you want a piece long enough that you feel that it will wrap around the entire pennies. And then essentially start from one side, like here, come around, hold the pennies so that they stack nice and neat, and wrap them tight. And then kind of use your hands like clay to mold the tape and the pennies so that they're perfect. And then do it one more time. Same thing, about the same size piece of tape. And come from the other direction, and again, wrap them as tight as possible and make sure that the ends are flat. Now that's more important than the sides. The sides won't matter. You need to make sure that the ends are perfectly flat. And then all you're going to do is stick it right inside there, put that spring back, and now you'll notice on your tremolo you cannot go backwards. You can only go forwards. Now the problem may be when you go forward, the pennies will fall out. That is an issue. And so you can do a couple things. You can tape them. I like to use a dot of Titebond glue, wood glue, and I would dot a piece of wood glue between the pennies and the back. Now this is a very inexpensive way to do it, but obviously anybody at home can do this. You block your bridge. If you're overly concerned, all you would want to do is take a Phillip screwdriver like so and tighten these 2 screws. Now keep in mind you cannot tighten these too much, because what you're trying to do is pull the bridge against those pennies so hard that they won't move. Now what I'm going to tell you now is, voila, we can go ahead and take this off. And here's my favorite part. If we come over here to this nut, you could actually remove these now. You don't even need these anymore. Okay, your guitar will be just like a Fender Stratocaster with a tremolo that only goes forward, or you could pretend that you have a hardtail bridge. Either way, you will use the guitar as normal. Now that's a temporary fix, and obviously for 6 pennies, very good. And like I said, you cannot move this bridge. it is very hard and it's set. Now, the second thing you can do is the most common. We call it blocking the tremolo. In other words, what we're going to do is we're literally going to take a piece of wood. We're going to measure from the back of where the wood of the guitar is to the tremolo, where the tremolo block, where we want this distance to be. Now, you can measure with a caliper, a ruler, but you're going to measure it. I'm going to go ahead and use this stack of pennies because ironically it's the right thickness, and go ahead, and what you would do is you would then measure it on the piece of wood and go ahead and just mark it. And then once you mark it, you could then take a straight edge or anything straight, do that, and go ahead and cut it. Okay, so the next thing you do is just you want to just take a flat surface for sanding, and you'll go ahead and just make sure that you did a good job with the block. Make sure both ends are perfectly flat. And just like the pennies before, that's good. We're going to go ahead and remove that spring, go ahead and insert the block. And in this case, what we would do is, again, we would glue it right there. So we go ahead and put that in. Let's go ahead and, right, center it, glue it, put the spring back, and again, now we have the tremolo set. We would set it level, and the block is in place, and now your tremolo is blocked again. Okay, well, let's say you're not budget conscious and you want to actually just do this and have a more usable Floyd Rose bridge. In other words, the ability to have it blocked and unblocked. There are systems called Tremol No. Now, there's another system too that looks like a metal L bracket, and if you've mentioned in the comments that I use the block of wood instead of the L bracket, it's because I don't like the L brackets as much, because when the bridge hits the metal, it makes a loud sound, and I don't really like the way it sounds, so I use wood. However, this system, the Tremolo, is very good, and let me show you how it works. And what I love most about it is you don't need to have any kind of repair abilities, no soldering. So this wire here is soldered. Don't worry about that. Go ahead and just cut that out, okay? There's no concern there. Go ahead and remove the springs, okay? And all you're doing is make sure your strings are loose on the other side. Okay, and you'll go ahead and pull the springs out. Just go ahead and remove the original claw. And what you'll notice is that there's a new claw, and you'll go ahead and reuse the 2 screws from your original Floyd Rose claw. Go ahead and run those through there. Basically, like I said, you don't have to resolder the wire. You may have to strip it a little bit though. And all you're going to do now is wrap it around this screw and then tighten it up. So just like before, we're going to take the spring, okay, and then run it through the hole there. I kind of catch it right there, and all I do is this. Look how easy that is. Super, super easy. So now we're going to go ahead and do it the other side, same as this side. We'll do this side, same thing. Hook it underneath, and again, caught it there. And now this piece right here, we'll lock it here, okay? And you'll see, you can already kind of tell how this is going to work. We're now then going to tighten this down. This works just like a clamp. And like I said before, you're going to want to get that bridge level. You hold it level here, and now you know it's level. You'll go ahead and turn these screws down tight, and this one as well. And just hand tighten them as hard as you can. Let go. And now your bridge it won't move forward or backwards. Now here's what's cool. If you want it to move forward, you want to go ahead and just loosen these 2. So what happens is the bridge will not go backwards, but it will go forward. And if you don't want it to go forward, you just tighten these 2 back up, right? So now you can make it a hardtail or forward only tremolo system. And now that you're done here, you go ahead and just tighten these. And now your guitar will be a Floyd Rose, a standard forward only tremolo, or a hardtail. Basically, by making fast adjustments, you went ahead and made the guitar perfect. She is beautiful again. So as you can see, a big improvement. By adding a Tremol No, a piece of wood, an L bracket by Floyd Rose upgrades, or even some pocket chains and electrical tape, you can make this bridge a hardtail bridge, or use your Floyd Rose in a way that doesn't require it to be fully floating. Now again, now that I've done that, I no longer need to use the locking device. I can actually tune the guitar with actual tuning keys and use it like a standard guitar. Now, if you're worried about the bridge coming forward, on the Tremol No you won't have to, it's locked, but on the block and the change, you would just tighten these springs down so tight that they are gonna have so much more force than the strings, you don't have to worry about it. Either way, it's a very inexpensive and good upgrade to do if you're really not in love with your Floyd Rose bridge. This guitar plays and performs a lot better and makes me want it more. As always, guys, I want to thank you for your time and know your gear.
How's it going? So what are you up to?
Dude, knock it off.
Dude.